এবার করুণা করো বৈষ্ণব গোসাই এবার
Okay, Hare Krishna. What's your name, Didi?
Malini Dasi.
And where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles, California.
And how did you become a devotee in 10 minutes?
All right. Well, I was born a devotee. I was born as a Hare Krishna in ISKCON, and my family was involved in the temple. But I think there's two, especially for people who are born into a movement, the Hare Krishna movement, there's two phases of becoming a devotee. One is the externals, being kind of through osmosis, being in the environment, which I loved as a kid, you know, in Kirtan, Mahaprasad, the drama plays, the festivals, all these kind of things. I always had a natural inclination for it because I was around it all the time, of course. But then the second phase of really becoming a devotee, or at least choosing to try to become a devotee, happened later when I was like 12 or 13.
Okay.
And that's really when you go from the externals to really understanding why I'm doing all this.
Okay.
And what's the purpose of bhakti. So that happened when I was...
So there was like a definite change.
Definite change, yeah, from just through osmosis, being in the environment, to actually consciously making the decision to follow bhakti.
Okay.
So I had met Srila Gurudev when I was 8 years old, 8 or 9.
Where?
2001.
Where?
Where? I met him twice. One in Badger,
Yeah.
2001, 2003 at the Furama Airport Hotel in LA.
Okay.
2003, I believe. And then, but I was still young and I didn't understand how everything, you know, who Srila Gurudev was, what a sadhu is. I mean, all I knew was Prabhupada, and I knew he was like Prabhupada, but I didn't really understand.
Sorry, how old were you when you met him?
I was 8 and then I was 10.
Oh, right, okay, so just a little girl. Okay.
I was a little girl.
What was it like? Was he scary?
He actually, I was in a darshan with him, with my father, and I was in the way back, and Gurudev kept on staring at me the whole time when I was 8. And I knew that he was looking through me, and I said, what is he seeing? I don't know what he's seeing and what he wants me to do. Like, I felt he was trying to communicate to me through his eyes, but I didn't know.
Okay.
But then years later, I had been in ISKCON still. I didn't come to the Sangha yet, to Gurudev Sangha. And then I just had this strong desire all of a sudden in me at like 13. I want to know what this philosophy is about. I want to understand, because the classes I had been hearing were just not fulfilling. They were dry to me. So then I got into contact with Srila Bhakti by Bab Puri Maharaj disciples from Mexico.
Okay.
They stayed at my house in Canada.
Okay.
And then it just started from there. I was reading Gurudev's books, Srila Puri Maharaj's books, Srila Sridhar Maharaj's books, or Govinda Maharaj's books.
Okay.
Reading, and then all of a sudden I just knew. I was like, wow, this is what bhakti is about. This is what a devotee is about, hearing from these personalities who've really seen Krishna and who have understood Krishna. So then I got initiated by Srila Gurudev in 2006.
Okay. When? In Badger?
At my home in LA.
In Los Angeles?
He stayed at my house, yes. So I got Harinama Diksha at that time.
So was that a change?
That was a huge
Did the
change.
mantras work?
Yes, the mantras worked, but for me it was a build-up because Gurudev had already stolen me with his glance, and that's so much.
Okay.
And his Harikatha is really what waters those mantras. Just having the mantra is one thing, but really,
So it's really the Harikatha?
it's really the Harikatha. That's what brought me to Gurudev, and what keeps me with Gurudev is all these personalities that Gurudev has still continued to send me to that have this Harikatha that is in the same line as Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev. That's what nourishes more than anything. And it makes me want to chant. It makes me want to do stuff.
Okay.
The Harikatha is
Cool.
what does it.
So what about the dancing? Tell us about the dancing.
The dancing. Well, I've always danced since I was a child. I've always been in drama plays and dancing.
Yeah.
And Srila Gurudev actually encouraged me to dance. I danced for him once in 2010 in New Braj, in Badger.
Yeah.
And afterwards, it's a funny story, I had a verse to recite to him. It was my friend Radhika's idea. Oh, let's recite verses. Gurudev likes when young kids recite verses for him. But
Which Radhika?
Radhika Manchanda,
Okay.
Radhika Dasi from the Bay Area.
Okay.
So we were in Ojai the last year Srila Gurudev was in the West, in America. And it was Father's Day, and we recited him verses, but I didn't remember mine. The second I looked at him, I turned blank. And then he started laughing, and he was stomping his feet. and he's like a dancer.
He was stomping his feet.
He was stomping like this. Like he was sitting on the couch and he was stomping, and he was laughing. And he said, "You dance? You're a dancer?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Oh, this is your verse." So in a very way, he was showing me that I'm not very qualified for memorizing verses.
Okay.
That much.
But you do know verses. I know you know verses.
I know something, but dance was really my practical experience in the verse because.
Okay.
I mean, some people can just dance. It's same as kirtan. Some people can just do kirtan or dance for show because they sound nice and sound pretty. And of course, it's important as devotees to really care about these arts if they're interested in them, to really train and do it nicely because it's representing the Guru Varga and Krishna when you're showing it to people as a preaching presentation. But really the main thing is it's one's own internal bhajan, dance and kirtan and all these things, because you're hearing again the Harikatha. You're hearing this Harikatha, and then you're thinking about it, and then you're trying to convey the Harikatha in a dance format. And it can be very powerful when you chant and pray and meditate and really try to sincerely do it, even if you mess up and you don't look great. The experience of going through the whole process and meditating on these pastimes all the time and seeing how can I really show what I've heard, you know, to the degree of my understanding. It's very powerful. So I feel like Srila Gurudev, with that, talking to me about that, he was saying, you know, these verses can actually manifest through dance, and you can really understand them and realize them.
Okay.
They're not just words.
What's your favorite dance?
I don't have a favorite dance.
Geet Govinda?
Geet Govinda is very beautiful, very high.
Okay.
It depends. I feel one thing I really do like is Mahaprabhu dance.
Okay.
Classical Indian dancers don't do Mahaprabhu dance, even Odissi. They don't focus on this. But when I think about Mahaprabhu dancing and rolling on the ground, it's a pretty amazing sight if you think about it. So
Right.
I always am interested in showing Mahaprabhu dancing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where do you live now? Sorry?
I don't have a home.
You're homeless.
This is like, well, as you become more of a devotee, you realize you don't have a home anywhere.
Okay.
And your desire for material life is not so strong. I have desires, but it's just not as strong. Because you hear so much.
See, okay. But you're married though, yeah?
I'm married, yes.
How many years? 2 years, is it?
2 years.
So
Been together for 5.
Together for 5, is it? Oh, okay. So, how is that? Does that help you back to you?
Yes, we're good friends.
Okay.
I think that's important for people who are going to take on marriage life. There's a lot of Harikatha that's strongly against it, saying, you know, how much of an obstacle it can be for one's bhakti, and it's very true.
Yeah.
But if you are going to get married, I suggest don't base it off of lust, or, I mean, I know it's hard, but really friendship is the main thing. And I think that's why I feel successful in my marriage, at least, because we're good friends and we both really like to do bhakti, so in that way it's very favorable. It can be very favorable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 8 minutes. Any last words of advice for fellow Guru Kulis like yourself, who are, because not all Guru Kulis kind of, well, they're devotees, but you know, sometimes they're in Maya, so.
Yeah, well, it's funny, I was just thinking about this the other day. I think Guru Kulis are really demigods in their past life.
Right, because they like to enjoy.
They like to enjoy, and I can speak for that for myself, big enjoyer. But, you know, I always see Guru Kulis, no matter where they are in life, they love kirtan.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important for Guru Kulis, if they're inspired with this kirtan, they should do as much kirtan as possible, because really, this is not only our process, but it's the goal. The gopis are always singing for Krishna, Krishna Nam, and so is Mahaprabhu. They're showing the example that it's the ultimate goal. So even if they have faults and they're doing things and not following the 4 regulated principles, I suggest to them kirtan, kirtan, kirtan. And more higher than kirtan is doing it in association. If they can find a sadhu that they really click with, that they really feel they have affection for, they should do kirtan with them. And then that all the nartas will slowly go. I mean, it's not really in our control. It's ultimately Krishna's mercy. But if we're in that realm of doing kirtan, then automatically that will be purified.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, and that's a question I missed. What are you doing here in India right now?
I'm here to hear Harikatha. That's my favorite thing to do. And here with Premanand Prabhu, the Harikatha is very amazing and mind-blowing. And I hope more people can have love for Harikatha Not that I have a lot of love, but I have something, because it's so sweet. It's like intoxicating. And I'm here to be in the Dham, because Srila Gurudev always wanted us to be in the Dham. And the dust particles of the Braja Raja, the dust of Braj, is so powerful.
Okay, cool. Last thing, give us a mudra.
A mudra.
Yeah.
Okay. This one.
Okay, cool. What's
It's
that?
called Katukamukaha.
Katakamakaha.
And it means a bud or a blossom. So the opposite of this is Alapadma, which is a flower, the opening of a flower. So this is who we are. This is us in the beginning stage of bhakti. And then when we blossom, we become beautiful flowers. That's the process of becoming a devotee.
Okay.
From closed to open.
Okay, thank you, Didi. Go Premanande.
Haribol.
Haribol.